would you like to tell them what we are going to do today?
Oh, yes. Hello, everyone. And thank you, Letty. I'm Nissa. And today we are going to tell a story. I choose a Cinderella story because I love this story. Because I had a dream when I was a little girl to meet a charming prince. And so I really like this story.
So I think your dream came true. You met your husband.
Yeah.
And you are very happy. So today we're using our special background, thanks to Nisa. And they are quite fun to use when you're doing your meetings. So we have to say goodbye to the background because when you put the PowerPoint on, it doesn't let you have the two things at once. Right, can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes, I can see.
Right. So we are going to start in a minute. Right, so it's story time. And we have chose the story Cinderella. So would you like to read, Nisa?
Cinderella, little ashes, cinders.
Now, if we look at the picture at the bottom, because it's easier for me to explain, it's a bit complicated because they're very similar. Ashes and cinders. For me, cinder is this big piece here that is burnt, and ashes is the powder.
Okay.
And we will read now why the girl was given this name. So can you tell us?
The poor girls could not stay clean from all the ashes and cinders by the fire. Yeah.
What a mess her two stepsisters left. And that is why they call her Cinderella. So this is a story, so we don't know if it's true or not, but it sounds possible. No, she was always sat by the fire.
Yes.
She used to get dirty, and they gave her the name Cinderella. So now you are going to read the story.
Okay. Cinderella lives with her stepmother and two bad and ugly stepsisters. She has to work all day while her sister do nothing but play and try on new dresses and shoes. There is a ball at the prince's palace tonight, and Cinderella's sisters are ready to go to it. Cinderella is very sad. She is not allowed go to the ball.
Right, ball. Now I will explain. Stepsisters are your sisters, but one of the parents isn't the same.
Okay.
So for example, you and I could have the same father, but we don't have the same mother, or vice versa. Now here, a ball is not bounce, bounce, bounce. No, a ball is a dance.
A ball, so, not a ball.
So they're going to a ball.
A ball.
And we know this because of the context. And to be allowed is to let you do something, to have permission to do something. So I think the most complicated one here was a ball, because you would think of the bouncy ball.
Yeah,
no?
Yes.
But here it refers to a dance, a special dance, which is elegant, with nice clothes and special classical dancing. So here in our picture, we can see Cinderella in the dishes and her stepsister and stepmother doing nothing.
And try clothes. Yeah.
Right, I will read this one. Suddenly, a fairy godmother comes to the house. Do not worry, Cinderella, she says. She waves her magic wand. In a moment, a very beautiful dress appears, and there is a coach with 2 horses ready to take her to the ball. But remember, says the fairy godmother, you must come back before midnight. So Cinderella has a godmother. So this is very typical in fairy tales. And a godmother is like a special person who looks after you, who isn't your mother. Now, I have a godmother in reality because I am a Catholic. And when I got baptized, I have another person called my godmother who will look after me if my parents aren't here.
In Italy
So,
too, yeah.
All right. So we have the godmother in the fairy tale, and in reality, in some moments or cultures or traditions, we have a godmother. I have a godmother and a godfather. And they were there at my baptism, and they promised to look after me if I needed them. Right, wave is a movement, so you can wave your hand.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Or
I thought
now.
about the sea, in fact.
And the
Waves.
one, if you can see, is this here, this stick. Can you see here this stick,
Wand.
which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
magic?
Yes.
It's the wand. So she waves her wand, she moves it in such a way to create
Magic
the
wand.
magic, right? And then here, this is a coach. This is a coach which has horses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I love
we
this
also
story.
have a coach in our real life. It's a big bus that goes long distances. So that is a coach as well. So you have the bus that goes around your town. And then if you go from your town to Milan, maybe you would get a coach because it's more luxurious, because you're going to spend a longer time on the coach to travel. Right, off you go, Cinderella.
Cinderella is in the palace. There are many nice-looking young ladies, but she is the prettiest of all. The prince dances with Cinderella all the time, but nobody knows the name of the beauty. When the clock strikes 12, Cinderella runs away without saying goodbye. She leaves a beautiful little slipper on the stairs in a hurry.
Right, so in the picture, we can see the slipper that she leaves on the stairs, right? So these are stairs here. And the slipper is there, and we can see Cinderella running away. And I put here the clock strikes. So it's when the clock goes bing, the clock strikes 12, right? It's just a way of saying that the clock says the time in a simple. And the stairs, I showed you the stairs. So we could have the stairs in the house. I would have called these more steps, but in the story, they stay stairs. Right, I will read this one. The prince and his men travel through the kingdom looking for the beautiful lady from the ball. They come to Cinderella's house. Cinderella's sisters are ready to try on the little slipper, but their feet are too big. The stepmother is furious. Then Cinderella puts on the slipper. It's just right. Now I know, the prince says. You are my beautiful dancer. I want you to be my wife. You can read the second part.
There was a big wedding party at the palace. Cinderella and Prince were very happy. They had so many guests. There were the king, the queen, and the fairy godmother. They all danced and had a lot of fun. The prince and Cinderella lived long and happily ever after.
Now, the only word here I have furious, which means very angry, furious. I think all the others is easy. No problem with the vocabulary.
Yes.
Guest is a person who is invited. To something, but I think it's very easy. Now, this story was very simple and short because we didn't want to go on for too long. So this story, Cinderella, when I was looking, there are more than 500 versions of it, starting with the Greeks and then progressing. And the ones that we know are two Cinderellas, stories written by Charles, I don't know how to say it, Perrault, who published his story in 1697. Bridget is going to complain that we can't say the French word, but anyway. And the Grimm Brothers, whose story came out in 1812. But I think we all remember the Disney version of this story.
Yeah,
so
course.
in every country, this story has been told in similar ways. So can you read this first part here?
When Perrault wrote his version of Cinderella, he said that the most important moral of the story is that no endowment can guarantee success and happiness. And that sometimes a good parent, a member of society who has committed to care of someone outside his or her own family, needs to get involved.
So sometimes, depending on our life story, we may need help from other people nearby. This is a very difficult word because the other day, another person had this problem. Society. Very difficult for people to read. So sometimes we need a helping hand from somebody else. For example, in my family, my grandfather helped us a lot. And everyone will have their own story to tell of someone who is related or a godparent who helped them during their life. Right, continue.
Cinderella teaches the moral of kindness toward all, forgiving others for doing wrong, and never letting bad things ruin your heart. The themes of the story are good versus evil and luck changing your life.
Right. Okay. So the moral of the story is to be kind to others, even if we feel that other people are not so kind to us.
Not easy, but yes.
Yes, that's the try. But I don't think we should be silly either. This is my personal opinion. One thing is to be kind and to help others, and another is to be taken for granted and being silly. And the last thing here that we would like to mention.
There is a great strength in kindness. Never stop believing in your dreams. Don't be afraid of a little hard work. It's okay to cry. It's okay to do things for yourself. Let's go. Don't be afraid of being a little idealistic. Love can happen when you least expect it. I love this.
So kindness is very important.
Yes. When I say, I noticed that I wrong. Kindness.
Right. And I think our society today has lost some of its humanity and its kindness. So I think this is a nice thing to keep in mind. And also we try to teach our children that. Never stop believing in your dreams. Well,
yes.
And don't be afraid of hard work. I do believe in hard work. And also crying is good. It cleans your eyes. They make them more beautiful. And it's like a new start of the day.
Yes.
And yes, do things for ourselves and don't rely on other people. Because sometimes I ask my daughters to do things and they say, no, Mama, you need to learn for yourself. So sometimes I'm a bit like this and I don't want to do things for myself. So what do you think about this story?
Oh, I love this story for the moral and for the kindness. I love Cinderella. He's Carter. The castle.
The character.
Yes.